Hello everybody. This is the little walkthrough video you've probably gotten used to seeing about what to do during week 11. Now, we're getting pretty close to finishing for the semester. So, we've only got, chapter 4, chapter 5, and chapter 6 to complete basically the work for the Word chapter. And then we get our final exams. Now, I think in previous videos, previous assignments and listings, I've mentioned where the final exam is, when it is, and of course I'll send out some more notifications as to the timing and all that stuff again to remind everybody about that as well. But essentially it'll probably be right after we finish week 6. It'll be 1 or 2 weeks where, come and take the final exam. I'll be a little vague on the timing because this video is going to work for pretty much any semester, so just check back at final exam times or message me directly if you have any questions about the specifics about the times. Now, onward and upward, and on that same note, before I get to it, the receipt that you need, it needs to be submitted on Canvas, and at this point, most people have probably turned it in, but there's always a couple of stragglers, 4 or 5. You have to go to the bookstore, you have to buy the Cert Report voucher, the applications voucher. And then you take a picture of that receipt and submit it on Canvas. At the very, very top, you'll see receipt, like picture information, assignment. Been there all semester. If you do not have that, you do not take the test. You do not take the final exam. You fail the class. And I've been harping on this for probably a couple weeks now, messages and also in the little introduction videos, but you absolutely need to get this. You're running to basically a very fine line to where, if you don't have that and it's final exam day, you just get an F. I need you to get that receipt. I need you to upload it so I can put it all in the system. So again, do that. If you haven't done that yet, maybe you have the receipt and you haven't taken a picture. I need that picture submitted on Canvas. So please do that ASAP if you haven't done so already. Now, as far as the exam and all that stuff go, we'll get to that in a minute, but for this week, there's actually very, very short in comparison, but there is other stuff for us to do to kind of make up for that. We have Word Associate, create, manage references. This is actually just a couple of questions. Each one has a few parts, but it's actually significantly shorter than all the previous ones we've done before. And then there's, of course, a project, and even the project is relatively shorter comparatively. I mean, there's not a lot to do as far as you insert a couple of references, you make a couple of adjustments, and there you go. So this chapter overall is relatively short. Now, to compensate for that, we got a couple of other things we have to do. Right about now, and this may vary in a future semester. If it does, of course, I'll send out a note. But as of the semester of this video, it is evaluation time. And that should be roughly the same going forward. So evaluations, if you look in the lower left-hand corner over here, you'll see NWCC evaluations. And if you click on that, it will give you a list of all your classes. Now, what I want you to do is, obviously, it would be a good idea to do all of those, but especially do mine, obviously. And when you do, I will give you some extra points for completing it. Now, as far as the bonus points, it roughly depends. I'm thinking about 20% of an assignment grade, essentially. So you get an extra 20%, 20 points, I guess you could say, on your assignments. Now, here's a little synopsis of what you have to do. It's in the bottom left, NWCC evaluations. Essentially, do the evaluations, and it's just your honest opinion of the course, how it was laid out, whether you learned anything, that sort of thing. How did the teacher do? And of course, in this case, that would be me or any other teacher that you evaluate. Believe it or not, we actually go through all the evaluations like every year. We go to our heads of the department, we talk with them, and they go over the evaluations. And it does matter. We found out one or two teachers were not doing what they're supposed to be doing through evaluations. So that does help, and it also helps point out, some teachers who are really doing their good job. So go in, answer the questions as honestly as you can. It's all anonymous. We don't get to see who says what. And then just, submit it. You want to leave comments, you can. Again, unless you write your name down in the comments, nobody's going to know who says what. But feel free, if you like something, say it. If you don't, say it. Be honest. That's what these things are for. Once you finish, take a screenshot of the picture of the whole thing that says little check mark, usually that you completed it. And sometimes you'll get an email. That's fine too. As long as you take a screenshot of that, you can use your phone if you want, and submit it here. And you'll get some extra points. Now, you may notice that there's a couple of extra things here as well. Oh, and just to point out before I get to that, this does have a time limit. Usually it's like 2 weeks. So if you don't do this like as soon as possible, you just won't get those points. So there are two other parts here that I'm not going to, I'm just going to kind of lightly mention here. Setting up Gmetrics and Certiport. And I have a little assignment called website username and passcodes. Now, the video is going to walk you through how to set up Gmetrics and Certiport. The website username and passcode is for specifically the Certiport username and password. The Gmetrics has the practice tests on it. You can actually go in there and take practice tests. Go back and get to my thing. There it is. So you have practice exams you can take, and trainings and study guides and stuff like that. And you can click here and take it. And it's pretty similar to how the Certiport test works. So you'll have a couple of practice exams you can go through, and you absolutely need to do one of those. Like, I'm going to require it. You need to do at least one practice test before you finish, before you start the exam, final exam. Reason being, last semester that they taught this class, every single person that failed the final exam didn't do the practice test. Every one of them. So do the practice test is what it comes down to. The more the better. Now Certiport, this part here, is where you're going to go to take the actual test. And actually that's Gmetrics. Also Gmetrics. Well, I will have links to everything at some point, but this is the Gmetrics website, by the way. But I'll have links. I'll have a little video walkthrough on how to set that up. But Certiport is the other site you're going to need. And there'll be a link here in this video for you. But that is essentially where we're going to take the final exam. So I'll get into more information in that video for you to do later. If you don't see it yet, I just may not have turned it on yet. But it should be up here once I get some confirmation over here, if it's not already there. So assignments, evaluation, and set up your accounts on these sites. And you'll get more information on that in this video. If you have any questions or anything, as always, please let me know.